Another defeat, more criticism, more questions asked. The Sri Lankan cricket dressing room isn't looking very bright. Dull scenes for Sri Lanka after that first test to Australia at the Gabba. People asking questions, what's going on? When will things change? Who is going to make changes for Sri Lanka cricket? On this week's episode of Around the Wickets, we have a man next to me, Farveez Maharoof, who's been in the Sri Lankan dressing room before when times were much better. Farveez, good memories, I'm assuming. But let's start with that first test, losing by an innings and 40 runs. I want to be fair in our assessment, Farveez. It's easy to ask questions and criticize, but pitch like the Gabba, okay, pink ball, under the lights, seaming conditions, 3 bowlers bowling at 140 plus. Is it just Sri Lanka or any Asian batting lineup would have struggled there?
I think any Asian side would have definitely struggled, especially considering the fact that the amount of bounce which the pitch at the Gabba had. But overall, the disappointment for me is how we competed. Because there's no competition. I mean, it's no miracle science that you know, to beat Australia we got to play to our strength, or probably better than that. But accordingly, the situations, did we play our natural game? I don't think so. The way some of the players got out, it was some. It's too easy.
Poor shot selection, you might say?
Poor shot selection and too easy to give it away. I mean, not well in the wicket. So those are little things that definitely, you know, definitely will evolve in a result of a test match. So overall, thinking about all the aspects, apart from Suranga Lakmal and Niroshan Dickwell, and maybe in the second innings, Lairu Tirumana showed some guts to hang around. The rest of it, I don't think they were in the game at all. And Australia have done their homework on individual basis to our players. They knew where to bowl, and they were much attacking and much ruthless. And I mean, you just can't imagine Australian team was defeated by India so comprehensively, coming back so strongly. It was good to see. But answering a question about the pink ball, definitely it did swung when the evenings came in, the lights kicked in after 6 o'clock, something like that. But still, the game started at 1 o'clock. Even at 1 o'clock, we were struggling. So I don't think our preparation would have been better before the game. But preparation for the game mentally, I don't think our boys were switched on.
Right. You spoke of preparations. On that note, winning the toss, choosing to bat first on a pitch like that, wise decision. I want to get to the personnel later, but tell me about the decision to bat first. Maybe could have bowled first, assess the conditions perhaps?
I mean, I would definitely bat it as well, because 1 o'clock start, 35 degrees in Gabba. You know, I mean, you just have to back your batsman to make the full use of it, because generally in Gabba, they say the first day, it has that spongy bounce which there's not much pace involved. But come the second, third day, that's where once the sun kicks into the wicket, you know, it'll be one of the quickest wickets in the world. So I think winning the toss and batting, I think we did the right decision.
Right. And your thoughts on the personnel that played? I mean, we discussed last week, we were discussing the first test and we were looking forward to it. You said KJP has to play on a bouncy wicket like that. But we didn't say him play. Roshan Silva came in. Knowing that guys like Roshan Silva, Dharanjay De Silva perhaps, you know, even Chandimal for that matter, being the captain, we know they have a weakness against a swinging ball, against a ball that's much faster, that comes on to them as a bounce. Maybe, just maybe, got a few options wrong there.
I think KJP is a must. When it comes to bounce wicket, I mean, he loves the bounce, because we need to back those kind of players, because clearly Roshan and Dharanjay did struggle. So I mean, interesting to see in the second test match what's the combination going to be. But did we get the 11 right? I think when we were one player, you know, we missed out in KJP, definitely.
Wow, okay. So there you go. Kusal Perera should have played, is what Farveez Maharoof's opinion is. That's as far as the batting is concerned. You mentioned on the top that Sri Lanka's bowling was good. Lahir Kumar's Suranga Lakmal's 5. Bowling was generally good, wasn't it, Farveez? I mean, to restrict Australia to 323, not a bad effort. I mean, it's not like they scored a 450 or a 500 where they went away with the game. We could have still been in the game had we batted well. So credit to the bowling. They did their job well.
Absolutely. I mean, Suranga Lakmal has been our leader in the test pack for a long time now. I mean, he showed why he's the #1 bowler when it comes to our test team. And you know, he just kept it basic. I mean, he pitched the ball up, he swung it, rather than where else Dushmant and Lahir Kumar are much shorter in length. And eventually they found not easy going, especially with the swinging ball being switching shorter. It's easy for the batsman to go to the back foot, and there's ample time. Whereas Suranga Lakmal hit that perfect length which Brisbane wicket demanded.
They say, don't they? I mean, when you want the ball to swing and get you wickets, pitch it up there. Don't be afraid. That's the secret. Farveez Maharoof will know all about it. There will have to be a few changes, forced changes, because when we said batting, yes, maybe a few personal, we got it wrong in terms of picking the right batsman, but in bowling, two guys have been injured. Nuwan Pradeep, we know from before, was injured. Now, Lahiru Kumara, Dushmantha Chameera, both of them. What's with our fast bowlers going on a tour, playing one test and getting injured, Farveez? This has happened way too many times. Something wrong somewhere?
I think when it comes to Dushmantha Chameera, he's been carrying this injury for a while, as far as I know. He's having this ankle recurrence for a long time. So I'm sure that the medical staff will look into different options when it comes to his medical advices. But when it comes to Lahiru Kumara, he's one of the fittest guys. I mean, I think this is the first time he got injured. So I reckon bowling 10 overs at a spell, especially in a test match, it's hard work. If you look at the Aussies, maximum they bowled in a spell with the three fast bowlers was maximum 5 or 6. But whereas, our think tank thought that we should let Lahiru Kumara loose for 10 overs, which was, I thought, a bit of a bad decision or a shocking decision. I should say it, because knowing as a fast bowler, I mean, especially in a test match, bowling 10 overs and coming back for the second spell will be hard, especially in those conditions, which is 35 degrees, hot, humid. It's a lot to ask from a fast bowler. So I think we misused him. I mean, in future we should be more tactful when it comes to using fast bowlers in shorter spells and keep spin going in one side, because at 2 o'clock in the afternoon it's not going to swing much. So you need to get Dilruwan Perera to hold one position. That's what Australia did. Nathan Lyon just held one end of it. He didn't give much runs. He was just bowling, tight lines and lengths. And whereas the fast bowlers from other end kept coming for 4 overs and they kept rotating. So whereas we went for 10 over spell with Lahiru Kumara, which was, I thought, was a shocking decision to be made.
Yes, I mean, baking conditions in Australia, it's very hot. That's the news coming in from there. I mean, part of good captaincy is also managing your bowlers' spells and giving them the right amount of time out there. The replacements have been named. We know Vishwa Fernando went there to replace Dushmantha Chameera, was injured much earlier. Now to replace Lahiru Kumara, it's the NCC all-rounder Chamika Karunaratne. You know about him? You've played around him. Tell us a little bit that you might know.
Yeah, he's a bowling all-rounder. He's capable of bowling up to 140.
Oh, okay.
So he's capable, but I mean, I think he just left 2 days ago to Australia, so climatizing and everything will be too demanding for him to ask straight away to play the test match. But you never know. But I will definitely back him. I mean, he's still a youngster, but a very matured guy, very fit, very hungry, and he loves bowling every time. So that's good attitude to have for a fast bowler. So I reckon he'll be a good assist if he plays.
A good experience for him. I mean, so you're saying you reckon that it will be Lakmal, Vishwa Fernando and Kasun Rajitha probably?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's too much to ask from a young guy straight away to travel so long, especially in a test match. If it's a one-day international, I can understand. But playing a test match with the jet lag and everything creeping in, so I think it's too much to ask. But you never know. I mean, there's 2 more training sessions before the test match to go ahead in Canberra. So I reckon it'll be interesting call. I mean, definitely 3 fast bowlers has to play. So whoever makes it, they got a work cut out, because we got the when it comes to experience, we are the least experienced. I mean, you get Vishwa Fernando, I think, would have played 1 test match.
I think, yeah, 1 test match. 2 in Gaul, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2 in Gaul, and Kasun Rajitha would have played about 4 or 5 test matches, and that's only Suranga Lakmal. So huge task ahead for us.
Speaking of huge task, that second test is going to be an all-important one in Canberra. Might not be the same pitch as Gabba, might be a little batsman friendly. We don't know much about it. Manuka Oval, not much played in there. Changes with regards to that second test. We spoke about the bowlers being those 3 candidates, Rajitha, Suranga Lakmal and Vishwa Fernando. Let's talk about the batsmen. You might want to make some changes. I know you want to bring Kusal Perera into the team, into the batting lineup, but any other changes? Perhaps leave out a couple of other batsmen. Try someone new. Why not? It's a lost cause anyway.
I think KJP would walk in. They will definitely in place of either O'Shane or Dhananjay. And Sadhir Samarakrama will be somewhere around. I mean, depending on the wicket, Sadhir Samarakrama will have a chance as well. But I don't want to make 2 changes when it comes to batting or just 1 test match. But definitely I'll bring in KJP. I mean, they say horses for courses. So bounce wickets, I'm pretty sure that everyone will agree with me when it comes to Kusal. Janit has to play.
Yes, I mean, we saw that from Dikwala, didn't we? Positive cricket. He wasn't afraid to go for his shots. And KJP is someone like him.
I mean, the situation's ideal for him.
Yes.
He's a player who likes to manipulate. He likes to play his natural game, be positive. And whenever we lost a 7th wicket, that's where we went a bit extravagant. And it worked for him. So as batsman, you got to find out what works for you and do that. Because in Australia, you might have to change your game according to the situation. So that's exactly what Niroshan Dikwala did, and he succeeded.
Wow, okay. So more news with regard to that second test. Australia, on the other hand, have called up all-rounder Marcus Stoinis for the second test. Interesting to see the kind of changes they might make into that team going into the second test. More news, Sri Lanka's batting coach John Lewis has requested leave from Sri Lanka cricket to attend a family matter. Accordingly, Lewis will not be with the national team during the second match versus Australia. However, he will join the team before the commencement of the matches in the upcoming South African tour, which is, the next big assignment when it comes to ODIs for Sri Lanka. Making decisions on the field, off the field, lot has been spoken about. People have different opinions on who should make decisions, who should make the selection calls. Just recently, we were given news that Sri Lanka cricket have decided that team selection, while the team is on tour, shall be made by a committee comprising of the team manager and the captain in consultation with the National Selection Committee. The majority decision of the manager, captain and members of the selection committee shall prevail on any selection made thereof. This decision was taken under the instructions of the Ministry of Sports in consideration of the need to form an effective and transparent selection mechanism whilst the team is on tour. This directive will come into force with immediate effect. It has been like that, Farveez, for a while. A very strict order as to who should be making decisions with consultations with the captain. You like that?
I mean, this was the past. I mean, definitely the coach had an opinion, but he never had a selection vote there. I don't say, but for some reason in the last regime, Chandra had that vote in him. But I think we have gone back to what were before.
Yes.
And the coach definitely had the opinion to give it to him, but it's end of the day, it's captains and the National Selection Committee. But when we are touring abroad, there's one selector goes on tour. So in Australia, it's Hemant Vikram is there. So there is one selector who's overwatching the training and matches and everything. He knows what's going on. Yes. So he will definitely have a big idea. So I think we have done a right direction here. I mean, definitely the selection committee and the captain should have the bigger say. Right. And coach should have his opinion, but the final decision should be definitely captains and the National Selection Committee.
Okay, at least that's one thing going right for Sri Lanka. And you know what else is going right for Sri Lanka? The selectors are going to have a good headache, and that is got to do with the fact that the Sri Lanka A team has absolutely demolished the visiting Ireland A team here in this island. There was a 5-match ODI series, unofficial one, but our batsmen have taken maximum advantage of that, played here in Sri Lanka. I mean, all of you must have been probably following what's going on, but just to bring you up to date, we played a 5-match unofficial ODI series, won all 5 convincingly. The batsmen have put their hands up. Guys like Avishka Fernando, 5 innings, 523 runs, highest score of 139, an average of 104, 3 centuries and 2 50s. Upul Taranga once again among the runs, 5 innings, 329 runs and an average of 99, 2 centuries and 150. Angelo Perera, been around for a long time. He too had a couple of half centuries in that. So even the bowlers have done well. Isuru Udana, been around for a long time, has always been in the T20 squad. He's put his hands up and said, listen, I'm good enough for ODIs also. 5 innings, 11 wickets, fantastic bowling once again. And Kamindu Mendis, we all know about him, bowls with both hands, and he's been among the wickets as well, and he's also scored a lot of runs for him. A lot of people are following that series with a lot of interest. They're saying there are so many good guys out there. Why not make these changes now? Why are we still going ahead with those old tried and tested horses for Sri Lanka cricket? Bring in fresh faces. If you're going to lose, you might as well lose with fresh faces anyway.
I think, I mean, looking at the names you just mentioned, all of them are around the World Cup squad. Right. So, I mean, the South African, I'm pretty sure the South African ODI team will be the team for the World Cup as well. Right. So these performances, as you said, it's a good headache for the selectors to make, and people like Avishka Fernando from nowhere and scoring 500 in a 5-match series is superb. And you get Upul Taranga, tried and tested, experience. You need experience in World Cups. Have scored a couple of hundreds as well. Angelo Perera, as you said, been in the system long enough and is very matured in the middle order. So, when it comes to bowling, Kamindu Mendis is some prize it may be a surprise call to the World Cup, because you never know, because you need guys like a bit of mysteriness. We need some guys like the Mendes coming in and making a change.
That's always been a strength, hasn't it?
We always had mystery bowlers, when Ajantha Mendes, Lasith Malinga, Murali. We had those kind of bowlers, and that actually gave that edge as we call it a X game, X-man.
X factor, yeah.
X factor. So I think with this performance, they are around the World Cup score. I'm pretty sure the selectors will be looking at their performance, and now itself they are making the combination how to go to the World Cup. So this is a good headache to have for the selectors.
Fantastic. It's always good to see that the A team and the under-19 teams performing. Okay, before we go today, we've almost come to the end of our show. We're going to ask you the question of the week. That is, in which ground did Sri Lanka first beat Australia in a test match? Interesting question. Got to go back, dig up some cricket history and find out the answer for that. Again, the question of the week is, in which ground did Sri Lanka first beat Australia in a test match? Last week, we asked you who has taken the only 5-wicket haul in day-night test for Sri Lanka. Well, none other than Dilruwan Perera. Before Suranga Lakmal's 5-wicket haul in Brisbane in this test match, Dilruwan Perera took a 5-wicket haul against Pakistan in Dubai in a day-night test played there in 2017. Mohammad Ashad is the winner. Congratulations on getting the right. Farveez Maharoof, thank you once again for that wonderful insight. Always a pleasure talking to you, and always a pleasure bringing you this show Around the Wickets. Until we see you again next week, it's bye-bye from all of us here at ThePapare.com.